In this video, I'm going to talk about my experience with the ROG Ally and give you my honest opinion for the past 3 weeks that I've had it. Go through some peripherals or accessories that I've been trying or I'm thinking of buying, and what I think about other um, accessories that I've seen on the internet. And we'll also go through BIOS updates and Armory Crate update, see what they've added, and some of the issues that have been fixed or I've been having. Some of the issues that I've had. And there's a lot of hate going on right now with this device on the internet. I see a lot of videos like the title, should you return your ROG Ally? I'm returning my ROG Ally. I mean, I don't know. So my experience with it is I did not have any real issues with the device. I've been installing many different games. Others more performance hungry, more hardware hungry than others, more demanding. And I have not encountered a game breaking, let's call it a game breaking issue, like a game that would not load or you have to go the absolute extra mile to make it work. Every single game I've just installed it, downloaded, installed, and just press the button to launch it. Nothing else. Change a little bit of the settings, uh, play a little bit with power mode, and that's it. Nothing else, and the games were all playable. Some of them I encounter issues with the silent mode, which is the lowest one, and this device is not very good at that. We know that. We know the Steam Deck is absolutely better at that, and the performance was not very good at very low like silent mode. But there's some games that I was able to play in silent mode, and for example, Death's Door, which is a great game. I played on its entirely on silent mode. So I had a lot of battery. Um, so yeah. Okay. Another thing is the Windows. I mean, some people might not like that. It's a Windows device. For me, it's an advantage because I've been playing games on my computer since forever, and I'm used to being able to tweak a little bit here and there, go through the files and change some stuff to make the game better, maybe even make it work. I have an ultra wide computer, even on my normal PC with an i9 3080 and ultra wide screen. I encounter issues. I encounter issues with the resolution. I encounter issues with the game that I have to tweak on Windows. So it's not the device, it's the fact that it has Windows and it happens on a normal computer. So every single game I downloaded, it just worked out of the box. Nothing else. I did not have to tweak anything. Doesn't have an ultra wide screen, so I didn't have to do anything about that. Every single game so far that I've downloaded worked perfectly. I had some issues with Armory Crate getting frozen that I couldn't change some of the features, but that was not would not persist once I restarted the game or the computer, the device. There's nothing that I couldn't fix restarting the Windows. So if I had an issue, I encountered something being frozen or not working, like not going, it would lock. There was a problem with the control mode. It would not. It would the controls, the gamepad would not work. So what I would do is restart the Windows, and it would work. So it's a inconvenience. Some more minor than others, but they were all inconveniences. No issues like game breaking issues, the device turning off or being too hot. Um, I didn't encounter any of that. Now, there's a real issue that I could not have encountered because I don't use an SD card. The micro SD card apparently gets melted, gets destroyed. Some of them, if you play on turbo mode, probably turbo mode plugged in, even worse. It gets so hot that it melts the SD card. So that's a real issue. That's a issue that might make people return the device or change the device. That they should do that because that's a real issue. But other than that, some people are calling issues game breaking issue, and they're returning the device for reasons that are not really a problem that cannot be fixed. Plus, it's been out for 3 weeks, and I know they should have. I think they should have updated more and be on top of the issues more. But they have released some updates, and they have improved some of the stuff. Um, so let's talk about my experience with it in other terms. For example, it's comfortable to hold it. Because game, we're done with that. I could play. I played any game, no problem. If something was not working, I would lower down the graphics or crank up the power mode, and everything would work. Some games were playable in 30 frames. Some were not playable at 30 frames because that's subjective, and that's related to each particular game. Some games just work on 30 frames. They're playable. I mean, a RPG could be playable at 30 frames, but a FPS game would feel terrible at 30 frames. So that's that with the performance. And Windows, for me, I use it at work, not to play games. I use it for work. I have a dongle that I bought for a different project for something else, and I have a dongle that I can connect with USB-C. I have 3 normal USB 3.0 ports, card reader, and HDMI. 4K 60 frames supposed to be, yeah, and an USB-C power charge. But it's not, if you charge this one particular dongle that I have, it doesn't go up to 65 watts, so you're not going to be able to play in 30 watts maximum turbo mode. It would not activate that, but you could play definitely in 25 watts, and it would charge. You wouldn't run out of battery. It would charge the device, but you wouldn't be able to activate the absolute maximum turbo mode because that's an issue with this dongle. It's not a dock, it's just a small dongle device, and it was very handy. I had it laying around. You could buy one that can charge up to 65 watts, so there's no problem with that. That's what I have, and I used to flash the BIOS back to 317 version, because the 319, when it came out, it was terrible. I had issues with that, but I was able, because I know Windows. I know for some people was an issue because it wasn't an inconvenience. They couldn't just they didn't want to just start learning Windows and start learning how to flash BIOS back. I mean, they bought the device, they want to be able to just pick it up and play. And I say go for that. I mean, Steam Deck is right now, I think it's still on sale. It's so cheap for people that want to play games. And even for me, because I usually play on this device, I want to play relaxing games, and that type of games do not need a performance. So a Steam Deck even for me, was probably a better idea for gaming than this device. This device has potential, but a Steam Deck would be more adequate in some situations. Um, so I was talking about the dongle. Um, what else? I purchased from Skull and Co. Skin. What is this? FPS thumb grips from Amazon. These are for Steam Deck. Says on their website says Steam Deck, but also says ROG Ally. It doesn't say ROG Ally here anywhere, from what I've seen. I don't know if someone tested it already, but I tested. I didn't. I gotta put up a review here and say that they work perfectly fine for the ROG Ally. So I bought this, the grips. I'm using on the aiming stick. I'm using the big one with this one on top of it. You can put this one on top of the big one, and or I think you can put it on top of this one too. And the small one, this one, the regular one that I put on top of this one, just this one on the other side, on the left stick. So that's what I'm using for the grips. And I bought a case, the case that comes for the the official ROG Ally case that you can buy from Best Buy. It's laughable. I mean, it's $40 something, and it looks like a $7 bag, and doesn't protect the device. From what I've seen, I have not seen it in person, but I've seen it in videos and photos, in detail, and it looks laughable. So I bought a better one, bigger, stronger, and cheaper on AliExpress. If it, AliExpress, it might not come at all, or get the wrong item. So it's a gamble buying from AliExpress, but you can get some good stuff cheaper. I bought also the D brand screen protector, which is very good. It's thick and very good quality, and the protection it has for against fingertips, finger marks and oils. It's impressive. It's great. Very easy to clean. The only problem is it's very reflective. It's incredibly reflective. I sometimes have an issue with this. If I'm playing inside the house, not even outside, inside the house near a window or some light source, it just reflects. I can see myself playing games. I play games watching myself playing games. So unless you're like a vampire gamer and you play in a cave, this would bother you a little bit, or more than a little bit. It bothers me, but I'm getting used to it, and it's a great protector for the screen. I bought us also a cover, a silicone cover. That might turn out to be bad, but we'll see, because we don't have any official covers from D brand, or they might not. From what I've heard, they might not even create one. So I was about to talk about how comfortable this is in my hands. It's very light. Apparently, it's lighter than Steam Deck. It's very light, very comfortable in my hands. You have the back buttons, which I don't particularly use. I might use them if I play a competitive FPS shooter, but I might not play on this kind of the device of competitive shooter. I mean, it's not made for that. So the buttons are not. Yeah, I might use them or not. Everything else, buttons, great. Well, I talked about that when I first got it, I think, in one of my videos. So it doesn't get hot at all. Nowhere on the device except for on the top where the air comes out from the fans. That's the only place where it gets hot, where you can feel hot air, but you don't ever touch that area, and that's what creates the problem with the micro SD card, because that's where the position of the micro SD is bad. It's right when it comes out, where the hot air comes out. So you don't feel anywhere on the device. You can hold it on any point and you will not feel heat at all. Comfortable, cool in your hands. So very good overall. The sound was very good. I mean, you could not hear the fans at all, but now we're getting to BIOS 322. What they did to alleviate the problem with the micro SD is they changed the fan curve, which now in return will be louder, but you have better thermals. Obviously, better thermals, but have higher sound. So that's what they did basically. What else? Resolved an issue with people putting passwords on BIOS. I don't think that's a good idea to put password on BIOS. I think that gives you a problem. If you forget that password, you have to reset BIOS, and I don't know what implication have right now doing that. So Armory Crate also received an update, and for me FPS limiter have never worked. So another inconvenience, which is a software inconvenience. The games work fine on this device. Nothing, I mean, work as if it was on a computer with Windows. The only thing is inconveniences with quality of life features, like being able to use your features like on a Steam Deck in a more efficient and more comfortable way. But Steam Deck has been out for a while, I mean, a year or more than a year. And they've had the big picture mode and Steam OS working on this kind of stuff for a long time. This has been out for three weeks only. Uses this Armory Crate, which is not created for this, so it's gonna take a while to fix it and make it better. So if you don't like that, if you just want to pick up and have everything comfortable and just buy a Steam Deck, there's no problem with that. But people just talking trash and bashing the device for some of the things that are not even issues, real issues. They're just inconveniences. Okay, so we talked about the BIOS. Yeah, I had an issue with the BIOS 319 at the beginning, but then we received the AMD driver, which made 319 better. It was a bad update when it came out. It dropped the performance, and I had stutters in games and stuff like that. But for me, I just flashed the BIOS back to 317 and continue playing games. But I see how that might be a problem to people. I mean, they should have just make a quick fix or do something about it, because it took a while, I think a week or more even, to release this driver that fixed 319. And when I finally switched to 319 the next day, 322 came out. But I've never, I've always been able to play. No issues. I mean, the games would not stutter to a point that were not playable. I could play mostly on performance mode is what I played, because of the battery. Another thing, the battery it's a big problem, but it's not the battery itself. It's not a problem. I mean, I know what they did. They wanted to make the device be lighter than the Steam Deck, and they had to put the same battery. But this device has more performance, and it needs more power output. And that obviously drains the battery a lot faster. I mean, it's a double or triple the power consumption of the Steam Deck. It's double, and if it's 9, it's triple. If it's 9 watts, so obviously, if you have the same batteries, it will drain very fast, very quick. And if you put a bigger battery, it would be much heavier. And they didn't want that. They wanted to compete with the Steam Deck. Another thing, what else? It's the cable that comes with the device. It's not braided. I don't like that you cannot disconnect it. It's not USB-C, USB-C. It's plugged into the actual charger, and you cannot take it out or switch it to a different one. You're stuck with the USB-C you have attached to the charger. And the charger does not have the pins, do not go inside, like inside the device, do not fold in. That's a thing my wife realized when she saw it. Like it doesn't have folding pins. That's something you don't see. You see folding pins in a lot of premium devices these days. So probably wanted to go cheap and don't go braided cables, stuff like that. So that's that. So overall, I had a great experience. I worked on this device on Windows using Word, Excel, navigated the internet, plugged in a 4K monitor, and play on it. The problem is the 4K monitor, only the one I have, only outputs 4K at 30 frames, so I had to lower to 1440p at 60 frames. The dongle supported 4K 60, but the monitor did not. So that's what I work. I plugged in mouse, keyboard, and everything else. Being able to print. So it's a Windows device. Very comfortable, and it's a powerful laptop. What do you have here? And it has Windows. You can do other stuff than playing games. Which, I mean, some people would like that. Some people don't care about that. And they think, I mean, I want to pay less if it doesn't have the Windows version. But it comes with the Windows version. So you're stuck with that. You got to make the decision whether to buy this or the Steam Deck. Steam Deck, it's only for games. This one, but you can use for other stuff too. So, how the games work on this new update? Well, I haven't tested that much, to be honest. I'm not gonna. I played a couple games and they work again. They work fine. I don't benchmark. I don't like to watch benchmarks. I like math. I like numbers, but I don't like to look at graphs and numbers for games because it's all subjective. Like I said, you can play a RPG at 30 frames. You cannot play an FPS at some FPS. You can play at 30, maybe, but some you have to have 60 or close to 60. Also 40. It's awesome with the FreeSync of the monitor. The monitor is incredible. I mean, it's 1080p, but I usually on this size, I use 720. 720 is more than enough for any games, and that's how I achieve better frame rate. And it looks the same. So I use 720. It's good to have the option to have 1080, obviously, and 120 hertz also is good, and that's useful on lower games, lower performance games. For example, I play on performance or on 720. Ori Ori and the Blind Forest, I think it's called. It came out, I don't even know, but I like the game, and it goes 120 hertz, 120 FPS, and it's an incredible experience to have 120. You can feel the difference. What else goes up? Overwatch goes over, and you need that extra FPS if you want to be competitive. But you can't be with the controller. You can't really. There's another issue. Very important. People have noticed there's an issue with controls with the sticks, with the thumbsticks. They say they've encountered input lag. I don't feel, from what I feel, I usually play mouse and keyboard, so I'm not an expert on any of this. What I felt like the problem was the dead zones. That's what they said, but I felt the same. I felt like it was a dead zone problem. What I felt is that when I pushed the slightly push, and that was a problem with the three. I realized once I updated from 317 to version 319 of the BIOS that it got better. With 319 got better. So I would push the stick, the aiming, the right stick, slightly, and it would not do anything unless I pushed it further. And then after you push it further, it's very responsive. So it's not an input lag because it's responsive before that threshold. So once it's the threshold, the limit. So what my understanding is that's called the dead zone. So that was the problem, and now it's more responsive. You like a slight movement, and I think I feel like it could be better. I think like it still has problems responding, but it's not a delay. It's like it's further away. You have to push further away for it to activate. And once the stick is pushed, it responds normally. So that's what I feel is the problem. But I think that's easy for them to update. The problem is that they're not updating as often as I feel they should. But yeah. So that's about it for the ROG Ally. Maybe I've helped or not helped anyone. Maybe I helped someone decide whether to buy this thing or not. I'm keeping it, and I like it. So that's it for this video. See you in the next one.